This is my review of ROH Young Wolves Rising. This is Ring of Honor's 10th anniversary show, and it was actually a very good show. I was kind of expecting this to be maybe just a kind of like a B show, just to build up to their WrestleMania two pay-per-views they're going to be having over that weekend. But it actually was a fairly good show. You saw a lot of great tag team wrestling here, especially with the main event with you saw Davey Richards and Kyle O'Reilly team up to take on Eddie Edwards and Adam Cole. And before this, I already felt Kyle O'Reilly was worthy of being, a future main event star. Adam Cole, I was kind of not sure with, but he definitely proved himself tonight. And I think it was a smart move to have Davey Richards put him over. Some people might have not liked that, but I thought it was the perfect booking right there to build him up. And he proved himself in that match, and just the win over, who's the current Ring of Honor champion is really going to help Adam Cole in the future. And, O'Reilly did a lot. The stuff with O'Reilly and Eddie Edwards in that match was great. Just a really good main event. And we saw a lot of other good stuff on here. A lot of good, tag team action. Very good opener with A&X versus Wrestling's Greatest Tag Team. Kevin Steen was great on here. And really loved one segment they did earlier in the show, which is going to be probably building up to something in the future, segment with Eddie Kingston, the Shakara champion, and Kevin Steen. That was a very good segment. And really on this show, you didn't really have a bad match. I mean, the only match that was maybe a little weak or not as good as the others was the TV title match with Jay Lethal and Tommaso Ciampa, but that actually even turned out a whole lot better than I was expecting. Lethal pulled a good match out of him, and actually this is the best I've seen Tommaso Ciampa. I'm not really a huge fan of him, so I did enjoy that match. So really nothing bad on this pay-per-view other than that, which wasn't as good as the other matches, but it wasn't a terrible match. So let me get into my review. The first matchup was A&X All Night Express versus Wrestling's Greatest Tag Team. Very good opener. A lot of good stuff in this match. You saw some good mat work with Charlie Haas in here. Really enjoyed seeing anytime Shelton Benjamin and Kenny King take on each other. Rhett Titus did some good stuff in here. A lot of the match was dealing with Rhett Titus. Rhett Titus had a knee injury, and they were playing this off here with Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, basically cornering him in their side of the ring most of the match, and working over his leg, doing submissions and stuff like that. And then Kenny King finally got in there and saw a really good stuff with him and Shelton in this match. And the end of the match comes when Kenny King and Shelton Benjamin were going back and forth. Shelton was going for a power bomb. Kenny King reversed it in the sunset, went for a pin. They did a number of near falls. Then Kenny King ended up finally pinning him basically in a roll-up. So A&X wins this. So this probably makes them the number one contenders. And A&X definitely needs to be the team to beat the Briscoes. I can't wait to see that. I hope that does happen. And might see it at the WrestleMania shows. I'm not sure, but that will be a good thing to see happen when it does, because A&X are long overdue for becoming Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Very good opener. The crowd was obviously really into it. I would say about 3.5 stars. Very good way to start your internet pay-per-view. Then the next matchup was Mike Bennett versus Homicide. This actually was probably the one match with Mike Bennett so far in his Ring of Honor career that I've actually enjoyed the most. It actually wasn't that bad of a match, and Homicide actually looked pretty good in this match as well, because sometimes in Ring of Honor and the way Homicide is now, his matches are, not fairly consistent, but this was actually not a bad match. Pretty decent match, good back and forth action, and Mike Bennett wins this match at the end. Brutal Bob, he was knocked out. Maria was trying to get in the ring. That basically distracted Homicide. Then Mike Bennett rolls him up. So Mike Bennett wins this match with via roll up. About a 2-1 for 2.5 star match. This was probably the one match other than the TV title match. It was probably those two were the weakest matches on there, but both of them were at least watchable and decent matches. Then the next matchup was before the next matchup, they did a segment in the ring. Eddie Kingston came out there, did a promo. This is basically, the Ring of Honor and Shakara feud that they're building up to, which really can't wait to see how this feud develops in Ring of Honor with Shakara. Hopefully, it might go to a war game style match with Team Ring of Honor versus Team Shikara, and I really would like to see that. Eddie Kingston did a great promo. He's always good on the mic. Then Kevin Steen comes out there, interrupts him. They go back and forth on the mic. Then they end up brawling, and then everyone comes in there basically to stop them, to break them up. Very good segment. I can't wait to see where this leads to. Really great segment there with Eddie Kingston and Kevin Steen. Then the next matchup was Roderick Strong and Michael Elgin teaming up to take on TJ Perkins and Amazing Red. This was a very entertaining tag match. Great to see Amazing Red back in action and back in Ring of Honor. Just a really good match. TJ Perkins and Amazing Red worked very good as a tag team. I wouldn't mind seeing these two permanently in Ring of Honor as a tag team because I like both of them singles-wise, but I think they might work a little better as a tag team in Ring of Honor, especially. That'll probably be the best way they will get exposure in Ring of Honor, even though they possibly could work both fine within the TV title rank as well. Michael Elgin and Amazing Red worked very good in here, which is kind of expected. Amazing Red is one of those guys, kind of like Rey Mysterio, works very good with big men, and that them two colliding back and forth was great to see. Roderick Strong, good as always, and just a very entertaining match. A lot of high-flying spots with TJ Perkins and Amazing Red, like you would expect. Just a fairly enjoyable tag match. And then the match ends with Michael Elgin getting Amazing Red up and basically an Alabama slam. And then Roderick Strong hits him. It's a combo of Alabama slam into a lung blower. And Michael Elgin and Roderick Strong win this match. Very good match. A lot of entertaining stuff in it. And about 3 1/4 stars, 3.5 star match. Just another good tag match on the pay-per-view. Then the next matchup, this was the last match before going into intermission. This was Jay Lethal versus Tommaso Ciampa for the TV title. And I was expecting this to be just a god-awful match, nothing that good. I'm a huge fan of Jay Lethal, and Jay Lethal is a very talented worker. But Tommaso Ciampa is just one of those guys that I really have not grown to like at all. Mike Bennett can piss off the crowd. He's fairly good on the mic. Tommaso Ciampa just does not have anything, in my opinion. But him and Jay Lethal actually had a fairly decent match here. A whole lot better than what I was expecting it to be. And it ends in a 15-minute time limit draw, which is kind of expected because at the beginning of the match they announced it was given 15 minutes, and I was expecting when they announced that it was going to go in a draw, which it did. And a lot of times I would really criticize any company doing these time limit draws without extending it for 5 more minutes, but with the TV title, I can kind of understand it a little bit because it's like if this was on television, even though this was on an internet pay-per-view, you wouldn't give the TV title an extra 5 minutes. Basically, whatever time you're allowed it in that match, that's all you're given. So it kind of, and I think in this type of match, the way they ended it was fairly fine because I think if it would have been given more time, and even though I would not want to see Tommaso Ciampa win, if you would have booked it for 5 extra minutes and he would have lost, it would have been completely pointless. It kind of, made him come out a little strong with, taking Jay Lethal to the limit instead of, going into overtime and losing to him. So it kind of helped him in that way. But it was a whole lot better than what I was expecting. I would say probably about 2.5 stars. This match and Mike Bennett's match were like the only 2 matches on the pay-per-view that were a little just average matches. Everything else was fairly good, and the main event was excellent. But that match was one of those weaker matches on here. Then the next matchup, this was after intermission, was the Young Bucks versus the Briscoes for the ROH tag team titles. Another good tag match here. Good action with the Young Bucks and Briscoes, back and forth action. Really enjoyed it. Kind of it wasn't a special tag match. It's something you would kind of see from these two teams most of the time with each other. So it wasn't a spectacular match, but it was good for it was good for what it was, and I did enjoy it. I'm a huge fan of the Briscoes. Young Bucks both of them got in some good offense in this match, and the match comes with Briscoes hitting the Doomsday Device to retain the ROH tag team titles, and just good match. A good, fairly good tag team title defense for the Briscoes, about 3 1/4 stars. Then the next matchup was Kevin Steen versus Jimmy Jacobs in a no DQ match. Before the match starts, Steve Corino gets on the mic, basically says, haven't we had enough, Kevin Steen? We're not going to be having this match, and basically saying it's not going to happen. Then Kevin Steen and Jimmy Jacobs basically brawl, and that's basically signifying the match start. They get in the ring, the match officially starts. A lot of good brawling here. Some of the main spots in here was they went up to the stage. Kevin Steen was on the guardrail. Looked like he was going to dive on Jimmy Jacobs. Jimmy Jacobs called him and slammed him into the stage. Kevin Steen later bled in this match. Jimmy Jacobs pulled out the railroad spike. I don't think he's used that in a little while, so used that on Kevin Steen. Kevin Steen just was bleeding, and that played a role to the end of the match. Looked like that was going to be the end. Jimmy Jacobs was after he did that. Jimmy Jacobs was in shock, playing like, what did I do? I did not mean to do that. And then Kevin Steen looked at him, just smiled. The blood was going in his mouth, and Kevin Steen was just liking it. Then the end of the match comes when there's steel chairs in the middle of the ring, placed back beside each other, and Kevin Steen hits his version of the F5, which I think they call it the F Steen or F Insane, and picks up the victory. So Kevin Steen wins this no DQ match, and just really love Kevin Steen's character. And obviously, when Davey Richards loses the Ring of Honor title, Kevin Steen is the person that needs to win it. I think they can still drag it on for a little bit longer, but you don't want to make it be kind of like, sometimes with, Davey Richards. I think Ring of Honor did kind of give him the title, not at the perfect time, but they did not wait too long to give him the title. So they don't want to do that with Kevin Steen, because you don't want to take the steam away from, the fans, loving to see him as Ring of Honor champion. So I would love to see it happen at the Ring of Honor shows coming up in Florida, but I know they're not going to do it that soon. What it looks like, if they do it, it'll probably happen at one of their big shows, either Death Before Dishonor, or maybe hold it off till Glory by Honor. But they definitely need to do it sometime within, I would say, the next 6 months, make him world champion. And fairly good brawl there. Good no DQ match, about 3.5 stars. Really enjoyed it. Then the main event, which was the match of the night. This was a great main event. This was Davey Richards and Kyle O'Reilly teaming up to take on Adam Cole and Eddie Edwards. A lot of good stuff in here. The stuff I enjoyed the most in here was O'Reilly and Edwards worked great with each other. A lot of good back and forth action right there. Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards worked, perfect with each other like they always do. And Adam Cole, this was the one match right here that, I love him and O'Reilly as a tag team, and I always felt like the first time I seen O'Reilly that O'Reilly's definitely going to be worthy to become a future Ring of Honor champion, future main eventer for Ring of Honor. He's definitely going to be a star in the Rising and star for the future Ring of Honor. Adam Cole, I wasn't quite sure with, but I think he did prove himself tonight in this tag team match. Davey Richards put him over very well, and he just proved himself in this match that he is going to be, he's not ready as much as O'Reilly to be in the main event, but he's definitely going to be a future star for Ring of Honor, and just give him more time, and he's definitely going to be worthy for the main event. And great tag match here. Excellent way to end the show. Great stuff here, and Adam Cole actually picks up the win in this match after you see Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards work each other. They're going back and forth, hitting each other with strikes, countering submission moves and stuff like that. Then Eddie Edwards tags Adam Cole. Adam Cole gets to the top rope, hits the crossbody, and just rolls up Davey Richards. And a good way to put him over. I think it was smart to have Davey Richards defeat him in this match. And not only within the match did Adam Cole prove himself that he is a future star, Davey Richards put him over was the smartest move right there, because it really signified that Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, just like the name of the show, Young Wolves Rising, they're going to be stars for the future right there. And, you got 2 stars right there that have a bright future for Ring of Honor. And, next 2-3 years, just like you're seeing with Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards now. You could possibly be seeing, Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly against each other in the future for the Ring of Honor title. Then after the match, Davey Richards basically says, you proved yourself. Adam Cole shakes his hand. And then Kyle O'Reilly basically bad talks Eddie Edwards and refuses to shake Eddie Edwards' hand. Looks like this is going to be the end of it. Then Kevin Steen, you see him up on the balcony. He goes, great promo from him, basically saying, I don't want this show to end, the 10th anniversary show to end with, what he termed as Davey Richards' bitch fest or something. And just an excellent promo with him. Basically, what the gist of the promo was that Kevin Steen said that, I know Davey Richards, you're not afraid taking me on, but Jim Cornette does not want the match to happen, force him to have it happen, and I'm going to be the next Ring of Honor champion. Just a great way to end the show with Kevin Steen up there. And Kevin Steen was great on this whole entire show with, you saw, very good match with him and Jimmy Jacobs in that no DQ match. The great segment with him and Kingston. Just a very good promo to end him and end the show with up in the balcony. Great promo from him. And overall, a good show from Ring of Honor. As far as the main event, I would give it, 4 stars, maybe 4 and 1/4 stars. Just a great main event tag team match. And this is one of those pay-per-views that if you love tag team wrestling, it's a show for you to see, and it was definitely a whole lot better show than I was expecting to be, because card-wise it looked fairly good, but I was kind of expecting just to be kind of like a blow-off show with a great main event. I was expecting the main event to basically be what it was, but the rest of the show actually was fairly good as well, and like I said, not really anything too bad on here. I mean, there were, there was only like 2 matches on this pay-per-view that weren't great, but both of them were at least watchable and fairly decent. The TV title match was better than I was expecting, but all the tag team matches on this pay-per-view, from the first match with A&X versus the world's greatest tag team, wrestling's greatest tag team, I meant, and then seeing TJ Perkins and Amazing Red take on Elgin and Strong, and then the tag team title match in the main event. Just great night of Ring of Honor action with tag team wrestling. Overall, enjoyed the show a lot. I would give it about 8.25 out of 10, and I would definitely recommend people to check it out, because the show is basically a steal for only being $10 on Go Fight Live. And if anyone missed the show tonight, it's going to be on there to watch anytime you want to, probably within the next 24 48 hours. So yeah, that's it for my ROH Young Wolves Rising internet pay-per-view review. All right, peace.